What up? Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And on this channel, we talk about everything crowdfunding, e-commerce, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. And specifically today, we're talking about Shopify and what you need in order to set up a rock solid Shopify store. If this is something that you're interested in doing after your campaign when it comes to Kickstarter or further down the road, or if you have someone working on your store and they don't really know what they're doing, this is gonna be really helpful for you and prime some of those early things you're gonna need to get in order in order to have a really good and powerful store that brings in sales and allows you to expand your business. We're getting into it in just a second. Okay, so what are some of the things that you're gonna need in order to set up a really good Shopify store? First of all, I recommend going and checking out some of the other videos that I got out there on Shopify. There are so many different tutorials I've been publishing recently, as well as how to really grow your order flow from 1,000 orders to 10,000 orders. So there are a lot of great videos that are coming out on my channel, and I urge you to go and check those out. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. So let's get into this. What are some of the items that you're gonna need for a really good Shopify store? So the first thing is that you're obviously gonna need to have the product. And there are a lot of different types of ways in which you can get the product. When it comes to doing the product, you have basically three ways. One is you create it yourself. And that's kind of what I built my entire career on, is helping people who are creating their own products and launching them on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and they're interested in getting their own product manufactured, getting it designed. And the cool thing about this is that you can actually then have a defensive moat around your business so that no one else can steal your product ideas. You can have patents, you can have IP, you can have just so much cool stuff. And you have an original idea which you have brought into the world, which is so rare nowadays. Having your own product is, to me, like a head and shoulders above some of these other techniques, but there are a lot of other things you could do as well. For example, you could sell other people's products. And if you wanted to, you could even sell them under your own brand name. You could white label products, right? You could use other sources like Alibaba, etc., to source products if you wanted to hold inventory and then sell them. There are a lot of different ways in which you can get that product. You can even license the product, right? So many different ways. However, you're going to need a product of some kind. If you do not have a product, what the heck are you gonna sell, right? It's gonna be very difficult to sell anything on Shopify. You can sell digital products and that kind of stuff, but this video is not really about that. So if you're trying to sell a physical product, you need to either have the product or have a plan to get it. And if you haven't yet and you're interested in making your own, go and watch my other YouTube video out there about how to actually do that through the prototyping process, through the design process. You gotta watch that YouTube video because it's full of golden nuggets when it comes to that. Okay, so you got the product. Next thing is start a store, right? No, we gotta do a couple other things before we start the store. I get really excited in that same way. We have the product. Some of the major other things that we're gonna need to get done. Number one, we're going to need images, okay? Quality images. I'm not talking about images with your smartphone, right? I'm not talking about just snapping a few images and putting that on a Shopify store. I'm talking about getting professional images. It doesn't even cost that much nowadays. So this is a great thing where if you have really good images, and not only images that are of your product itself, but also using it in a particular environment, right? So think about the backdrop. Where is this going to go, right? Using it with models or people who are the customers who are going to be buying the product. They're going to be able to see themselves in that image and get excited about owning that product. So think a little bit about the angles that you want to have, where you want to get this product taken, what are some of the backgrounds that you might have, the people that are going to be involved, the variations that you might include, and the different types you're going to need. So for example, you might need a couple of images that are just going to go on the home page of your website, your Shopify store. You might have some other images that are going to go on the product page, right? Or if you have an upsell page, or if you have certain types of categories and you want to demonstrate this product in the wilderness versus maybe this product in the office place, right? Think a little bit through the different buying scenarios. I really recommend either working with someone or writing this out yourself and just kind of thinking of in what situations we go buy the product, who is going to be owning the product, and how do they need to see themselves in those images? What are the variations of the product? And also on the website itself, where are the different places where I'm going to need to display these images? And that's going to help you a lot when it comes to thinking through the images. In addition, nowadays, we live in a video world, my friends. And you know this, you're watching my video, right? We live in a video world. It is so freaking important nowadays to have quality video. I can't tell you just the level of, it's gonna just level up everything that you're doing. So one of the great things as well is that it's not super difficult to get video nowadays. So I would say you need to get high quality professional video of your product, and a few different reasons as well that go into that. You're gonna need video, and ideally, if you can, make GIFs out of that video content. Now I'm just gonna talk really quickly about that, and then we're gonna get into some of these other items. So with the video content, one of the most important things is to think about the mediums where you're gonna be sharing this video content. So there might be some as well on the store itself, right? On the homepage itself, or when people are looking it up on YouTube. You might be publishing some videos there, but they also might be on some other platforms. For example, Instagram or Facebook. If you're doing a marketing campaign, a paid marketing campaign, these are all great places in order to have video content so you can really make an impact on the customer before they're coming to the store. And I call that pre-framing, right? You're pre-framing their expectations before they come to that store. In the same way that in order to show up at a movie, think about a movie, right? In a movie, you are literally going into a dark room. There's a random projector there. You have a bunch of usually uncomfortable seating, and you have some popcorn, right? And you're watching this thing. What got you into that room was watching the trailer, right? The trailer teased you enough, brought enough curiosity into the arena that you actually showed up in that dark theater and were willing to watch for 2 hours or more a movie. I'm looking forward to watching, James Bond movie recently. Like, there's so many different reasons why you showed up, but the biggest one is that the trailer was interesting or enticing. And the same way, you need to pre-frame people before they come to your store with your video marketing. So make sure that you have images, video, and GIFs. That's really the next thing you're gonna need in order to set up a rock solid Shopify store. So you got your products, you got your images, you got your video and your GIFs. There are 2 other things that we're gonna first go over, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some of the other things you're gonna need. So next, you're gonna wanna think about color scheme, okay? / feel, okay? This is really the designer element when it comes to your store. And why is this important? This is important because if I mention any kind of a brand name out there, right? If I mention Canon, or if I mention Apple, or if I mention Amazon, or if I mention Microsoft, you can think about the font usually of what that brand is. If I mention Coca-Cola, right? Think about the Coca-Cola logo. You know instantly what is the color, right? You know instantly what does the font kind of look like for the Coca-Cola logo. If I mention Apple, same thing, minimalism, right? You can think a little bit about that. If I mention even like Radio Shack, a lot of people still remember what the logo looks like or what the colors involved with that logo were, or even sometimes the fonts of that. So it's very important for recognition. Brand recognition is incredibly important. And that way you can have almost this consistent experience when anyone goes and they encounter that font, that color, the shape and the look and the feel. People are gonna relate that with your actual trademark, which is why trademark infringement is a thing, right? So think about the color scheme and the feel that you wanna have for your Shopify store. Great way to think about this is if you're walking into Walmart, and you can think about Walmart, the logo, the way the store is set up, versus you walk into, I don't know, Abercrombie & Fitch or Burberry, right? Or a high-end fashion store. It's gonna be a very different feel. The logos are gonna look completely different. And also just the entire store layout is going to be different, right? Or if you're trying to buy a luxury watch, for example. So think about the category that your product fits in, the fonts, the colors, the feel of the store that you wanna have. And that might even be doing some competitor research and seeing what other competitors in your industry, the types of feel that they have to their store. Then, once you do this, you can then either get this set up yourself, you can talk with someone like myself to help you get this set up, or you can communicate with someone else when they're setting up the store so you get exactly what you want when it comes to your Shopify store. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillment is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillment today. Link in the description. After you've dialed into this, you're gonna wanna think about what I call the copy, okay? You can also say copywriting, but we'll just say the copy. What is copy? What the heck is copy? When I first heard that word copywriting, I thought it sounded just really weird. I didn't really know what that meant. I thought of like copywriting, right? So you're like copywriting one of your intellectual property assets, like my book or something like that. Copywriting is just ad copy, basically. It's the words that people see on the actual website in order to prompt them to buy. The better these words are, the more likely someone is to make a purchase. And that's why copywriters are actually an incredibly lucrative profession, because literally the difference in copy can be the difference between someone just browsing through your store and someone getting emotionally hooked and becoming a buyer. And it's why also copywriters are incredible when it comes to magazines and those kinds of layouts, but it's also true when it comes to website design. So you're gonna think about the copy for your store. For example, what are the descriptions gonna be? What are the specs going to read like? What is the homepage gonna be like? What are the titles that people, as they're navigating through the store, are going to see? What are the written policies for the store, which I'll get into in just a second, right? These are some of the things you want to consider before setting up that Shopify store, and it's going to make it so much easier if you already have that stuff in, for example, Google Docs or in Word files, for you to just plug and play and get that set up very quickly. Okay, so we went over some of the broad strokes here. Let's get a little bit into the nitty gritty. What are some of the other things that you're going to need here with this store? So I'm going to break this down here, right? So some of the other things that you might want to think about when it comes to your store is going to be inventory, okay? Inventory, shipping, okay? Shipping, and we'll also add in fulfillment, right? Fulfillment. We might also want to think about order flow a tiny bit, but I'll kind of lump those two together. So if you think about inventory, shipping, and fulfillment, you might also want to think about taxes / fees, okay? You might want to also think about policies, store policies. What is your return policy? What is your warranty if you have one or not? What are the policies that buyer can expect when it comes to how long it's usually going to take this product to get delivered to them? And at what point in time are they eligible for a refund, for example? You might want to think a little bit about the policies to the store. Some of the other ones I'm going to throw here while I got your attention would be added functionality. So Shopify does come with some functionality. However, they also have added functionality, right, in the way of apps. What is some of the functionality that you're going to add to the store in order to make it much more powerful? You might also want to think about marketing funnels, okay? Marketing funnels. These are more advanced topics, right? What kind of marketing funnels do you want to have? And then finally, we'll just say inbound / outbound marketing channels. Okay, so these are a lot. These are a lot of different ones. And to be honest, you don't have to have a lot of these answered in order to get the store up and running. The main ones you're gonna have to figure out is inventory, shipping and fulfillment. And if you're not looking to do your fulfillment yourself, I definitely recommend checking out my sponsor, which is Fulfillrite, taxes, etc. Policies is a big one. You really need to make sure that you have rock solid policies there. When it comes to apps, marketing funnels, internal and external marketing or inbound and outbound marketing, this is something that you can kind of figure out over time. But I wanted to add to the list because if you do really want to set up a good Shopify store that's making consistent sales, eventually you're going to have to figure out these things. Aside from these items, what do you really need to get started? I think is guts, right? Guts, like, oh, you need some guts, man. You need that confidence, you need that fire in the belly. You really need to make sure that this is something that you want to get started on. But here's the cool thing is that you can get started and maybe a month from now or 2 months from now, if you really want to, you can change your mind. However, I really like to work with people that are serious, that are super serious when it comes to setting up their e-commerce store or setting up what they're trying to do with Shopify, the goals that they're trying to accomplish. So the first thing is that if you have not yet, go and start your Shopify account. That is literally the first thing that you can do. And I'm gonna include a link down below where you can click it and you can go and you can start a free 30-day trial of Shopify. Thank you so much if you use that link as well. It helps to reward the show. It's kind of like tipping us for putting out great content for you. Number 2, if you want help with any aspect of this process, you can book a one-on-one coaching call with me at the link crowdcrux.com/coaching. That's crwdcrux.com/coaching, crowdcrux.com/coaching. And in addition, if you want some help when it comes to this service and you're not just looking to learn it yourself, but you just want to hand it over to someone else, you can always go to the link crowdcrux.com/help and we can begin to see if we can help you with setting up this store, or if this is something that just we don't believe in or that we don't think this is going to be successful and it's not even worth setting that up. And that's why I make you go through that application process to see if we are a good fit for you. So these are just a couple of things that you're going to need when it comes to setting up a Shopify store. I'm curious, please write down if you can, what part of this process do you need more clarity on? Because that's my homework for you, man. After watching this video, go and watch another video on that exact thing. And it doesn't even have to be my video, but go and watch another video on that exact thing that you need help with. Because I guarantee you, the more intelligent and the more that you become educated about this process, the easier it gets. And it begins to make it much more easy in order to move forward. You feel more confident going into this, and you're more likely to take action and take sustained and continuous action towards setting up your store. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman, and I will see you next time.